My wife texted me, innocent dinner with my married boss. Don't wait up. I replied, have fun. Then I accidentally forwarded their flirty text to her. Boss's wife with the message, is this your husband? The voicemail I received. 10 minutes later, my name is Derek Vance, and I've been running Vance Automotive for 12 years now, ever since my dad passed. It's not a glamorous job, but it pays the bills and keeps my hands busy. What it doesn't do is prepare you for the moment you realize your wife of 8 years is probably having an affair. I'd had my suspicions for weeks. The new perfume, the way she guarded her phone, like it held national security secrets. The sudden interest in overtime and team building exercises. But this text, this felt different, more brazen. I opened the location sharing app on our family phone plan, something we'd set up years ago for safety. Jessica's phone showed she was at the Willow Creek Grill, the kind of intimate place with Camelot tables and wine lists longer than my tax returns. Not exactly the spot you discuss quarterly reports. Derek, you still here? Marcus's voice echoed from the front office. My best friend and shop foreman had been with me since the beginning, a loyal guy with a bit of a belly and the sharpest mechanics instincts in 3 counties. Yeah, just finishing something up. I called back, but my mind was elsewhere. I went into my office and opened the shared iPad we use for family stuff, calendars, shopping lists, that kind of thing. Jessica had forgotten we'd synced her messages to it months ago. My heart hammered against my ribs as I scrolled through her recent texts. Greg, I can't stop thinking about yesterday. It was incredible. Jessica, same here. When can we do it again? Greg, my wife is at her sister's this weekend. Come over Saturday. Jessica, I'll tell Derek I'm going shopping with Lauren. The messages went on, explicit, detailed, months of them. My hands were shaking as I screenshotted everything, my mind oscillating between rage and cold calculation. Marcus poked his head in the door. You look like you've seen a ghost, brother. Everything okay? Just peachy, I said, forcing a smile. Hey, didn't you mention seeing Jessica's car somewhere earlier this week? Yeah, that fancy grill by the river. Fought. It was weird. You guys don't usually eat there. She was with some guy in a suit. They looked close. He paused. Why? No. Reason, just curious. Once Marcus left, I sat in my office chair staring at the evidence on the screen. 8 years of marriage, and this is what it had come to. But here's the thing about being underestimated your whole life. You learn to be patient. You learn to plan. I opened a new message and typed carefully. Hope you're having fun with your quarterly reports. Say hi to Greg. For me, then I did something that would change everything. I forwarded the most damning text thread to a contact I'd found in Greg's company directory. Victoria Standman, his wife. My message was simple. Is this your husband? Figured you should know. Derek Vance, Jessica's husband. I hit send and leaned back in my chair, a cold smile forming on my face. My phone buzzed 30 seconds later. Thank you. We need to talk. Victoria. 10 minutes after that, my phone exploded with a panic call from Jessica. Derek, what the hell did you do? Her voice was shrill, desperate. Victoria just called Greg, screaming. She knows everything. I just shared some interesting reading material, I said, calmly, still sitting in my office. Is there a problem? You've ruined everything. This was supposed to be discreet. Discreet? I laughed, and it came out harsher than I'd intended. Jessica, you've been carrying on with your married boss for months and texting about it on our family plan. The only thing I've ruined is your little fantasy. That I'm too stupid to notice. Silence. Then I'm coming home. We need to talk. Take your time, I said. I'll be here. Unlike some people, I don't have anywhere else to go. I hung up and immediately called my locksmith buddy. Tyler, need an emergency lock change. Tonight. Can you be over in an hour? Sure thing, Derek. Everything okay? It will be. Jessica's car screeched into the driveway at 9:15 p.m. I was sitting on the porch, a beer in one hand and my phone in the other, scrolling through our bank accounts. It's amazing the clarity that comes with betrayal. She stormed up the walkway, her face red, with a mixture of anger and what I now recognized as guilt. Derek, you had no right to. To what? I stood up slowly. Forward your own text messages to let Greg's wife know what her husband is up to. Sounds like I was just being a good neighbor. You don't understand. It's complicated. Oh, I understand perfectly. I pulled out my phone and started to read. Greg, I can still feel your hands on me. I can't wait for Derek to go out of town again so we can have the whole weekend. Is that complicated enough for you? Her face went pale. You read my private messages, your messages that were right there synced to our shared iPad, the one we set up together, those private messages. I laughed. Jessica, for someone who works in operations management, you're pretty terrible at operational security. She tried a different tack, moving closer with tears in her eyes. Derek, please. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. 6 months of a mistake is one hell of a streak. I finished my beer and set the bottle down. Here's what's going to happen. I've changed the locks. I've frozen our joint accounts. Don't worry. I left you access to your personal checking. I also called the credit card companies and had you removed as an authorized user. You can't do that. I just did. Your things are being packed up as we speak. As if on cue, Marcus appeared in the front doorway holding a box of her clothes. Evening, Jessica. Nice night, isn't it? Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. This is insane. You're being vindictive. I'm being thorough, I said, sitting back down. See, the thing is, I trusted you. Completely foolishly, but I'm a fast learner. My phone buzzed. I text from Victoria. Greg's staying at his brother's tonight. Can we meet tomorrow? I have some ideas. I smiled and typed back. Absolutely. I think we're going to be great friends. Jessica saw my expression. Who's that? Your boyfriend's wife. Lovely woman. Very interested in collaborating. Derek, please don't do this. We can fix this. I stood up and looked at her, really looked at the woman I'd married, the one I'd worked 60-hour weeks to support while she finished her MBA, the one who'd promised to love and honor me. You know what's funny? I said softly. I would have forgiven an affair if you'd come to me, told me you were unhappy, that you'd made a mistake. I probably would have agreed to counseling, tried to fix things. Hope flickered in her eyes. But you didn't just cheat, Jessica. You planned it. You lied to my face every single day. You used our home, our bed, our life as a cover for your little romance. I stepped closer, and the worst part of all is that you thought I was too stupid to find out. The hope died. That I said is unforgivable. Mrs. Higgins, our elderly neighbor, was watching from her window with undisguised fascination. I gave her a little wave. She waved back. The whole neighborhood is going to find out. Jessica whispered. Honey, I said. The whole neighborhood already knows. Mrs. Higgins has a security camera pointed right at our driveway. she's been documenting your late night visitors for weeks. Jessica's face crumbled. Where? Am I supposed to go? I hear Greg's brother has a couch. I picked up another box from the porch. Or maybe Lauren can put you up. Oh, wait. She's the one who told me about seeing you at the Grill-In. The first place. Funny how that works. Lauren wouldn't. Lauren's been covering for you for months, but apparently she draws the line of being lied to straight to her face. Good for her. Jessica took the box with trembling hands. I never wanted this to happen, but you wanted it to keep happening again and again. I opened the front door. I'll have the rest of your things ready by tomorrow. You can pick them up when I'm at work. Derek, wait. I paused in the doorway. 8 years, Jessica. 8 years I would have done anything for you. Moved mountains. Built you a castle. All you had to do was not have an affair with your boss. I went inside and locked the door behind me. Through the window, I watched her load the boxes into her car. Mrs. Higgins was definitely filming. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is Victoria. Greg, just confess to everything. We need to meet. These people have no idea what's coming for them. I smiled and poured myself another beer. Tomorrow was going to be interesting. I'm at Victoria. Stanton at Murphy's Pub the next evening, a dive bar on the other side of town where no one from Greg's corporate circle would be caught dead. She was nothing like I expected. Tall, elegant, with steel gray eyes that missed nothing. You must be Derek, she said, sliding into the booth across from me. I have to say your timing was impeccable. Just returning a favor, I said. Seemed like information you ought to have. She ordered a whiskey. Neat. I liked her already. Greg thinks he's so clever, she said after the bartender left. He thought I didn't know about his little extracurricular activities, but I've been documenting everything for months. Bank statements, credit card, bills, hotel receipts. I was just waiting for the right moment. And now I have corroboration. Your wife's texts plus my evidence. He's finished. We spent an hour comparing notes. Greg had been using the company expense account for his flings, taking Jessica to expensive restaurants and hotels, always under the guise of client meetings. Victoria had copies of everything. Here's what I'm thinking, she said, leaning forward. We don't just expose them. We destroy them. Professionally, socially, completely. I'm listening. Greg is up for a promotion to regional director. The decision comes down next week. If the board of directors knew about his creative expense reporting, that would be unfortunate for Greg. Very unfortunate. And Jessica, she's in operations, right? She probably has access to sensitive company information. If it turned out she was compromised, involved in an inappropriate relationship with her boss, they'd have to let her go for liability reasons. Exactly. Victoria smiled, and it was sharp as a razor, but that's just the professional side. Personally, I think he deserves a more public education. My phone vibrated. A text from Marcus. Dude, you have to see this. Check the neighborhood Facebook group. I opened the app and nearly choked on my beer. Mrs. Higgins had posted a video titled Neighborhood Watch Update. Security. Footage of Jessica loading boxes into her car crying. The comments were already pouring in. OMG, what happened? I always thought she was stuck up. Poor Derek. He's such a nice guy. Wait, isn't that the woman who was with that guy in the BMW last week? I showed the screen to Victoria. She laughed. A real deep laugh. Your neighbors have good timing, too. Mrs. Higgins has a flair for the dramatic. I scrolled through more comments. Half the neighborhood was weighing in, and the story was spreading fast. This is just the beginning, Victoria said, finishing her whiskey. I have plans for tomorrow. Greg is taking Jessica to the Summerfest tomorrow night. Company booth. Lots of gladdening with clients and board members. He thinks it will help his chances for the promotion, and you think it's the perfect venue for a little public education. We shook hands in the parking lot. As I drove home, my phone kept buzzing with notifications from the Facebook post. The video had already been shared 12 times. At home, I found 3 voicemails from Jessica, each more desperate than the last. Derek, please call me back. People are posting things online. It's getting out of control. My coworkers are asking questions. Someone sent them the Facebook post. You have to make this stop. I'm at Lawrence, but her husband keeps giving me dirty looks. Please, can we just talk? I deleted them all and went to bed with a smile. The next morning, Marcus was waiting at the shop with coffee and a grin. Bro, you're famous. That Facebook post has been shared like 50 times. My wife's book club is talking about it. Good. Let them talk. Jessica called here this morning, crying, said you won't answer her calls. That's correct. She wants to know if you'll meet with her, and Greg says they want to apologize. I looked up from the invoice I was reviewing. They want a what? I know, right? The nerve of some people. Marcus shook his head. What do you want me to tell her? Tell her I'll see them both tonight at the Summerfest. You sure about this? Oh, I'm sure. It's going to be educational. That afternoon, I got a call from Big Mike, who ran the towing service we used for Impound. Mike was 6 feet 5 inches, 300 pounds, and looked like he could bench press a Buick. Derek, you got a minute? I got something that might interest you. What's up, Mike? That BMW. That's always parked at the Willow Creek Grill on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the one with the custom plate GRG wins. Well, it's there right now, and the meter's expired. I smiled. You know, Mike, I think that car might be illegally parked. It should probably be towed. Funny, I was thinking the same thing. Where should I take it? The impound lot is just fine. Make sure you follow all the proper procedures. Oh, I always do. Very thorough, very professional. An hour later, my phone rang. Greg's number. Vance, this is Greg Stanton. Your wife works for me, ex-wife. And I know who you are, Greg. What can I do for you? Someone had my car towed from a legal parking spot. I think you might know something about it. I can't imagine why you'd think that. Did you check the meter? Silence. Then look, we need to talk man to man. I agree. See you at the festival tonight. What? Jessica didn't tell you. We're all meeting up. Should be fun. I hung up and called Victoria. It's showtime. The Summerfest was in full swing when I arrived at 7 p.m. Food trucks lined the waterfront. Families spread blankets on the grass. And a local band was playing cover songs. On the main stage, Greg's company booth was near the center of the action, complete with a corporate banner and a small crowd of employees and clients. I spotted Greg immediately, tall, silver-haired, wearing a polo shirt that probably cost more than most people's car payments. He was talking animatedly to a group of older men in suits, likely the board members Victoria had mentioned. Jessica stood beside him, looking uncomfortable in a sundress I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. The irony was not lost on me. I bought a beer from the nearest vendor and lingered where I could watch the show. Victoria had promised to be there by 7:30, and I trusted her timing. Derek, Vance, you actually came. I turned to Find Marcus approaching with his wife, Karen, and their 2 kids. Behind them were Big Mike and his girlfriend, plus 3 other guys from the shop. Word had apparently spread. Wouldn't miss it for the world, I said. Should be quite a show. Is it true what they're saying online? Karen asked about Jessica and her boss. Depends on what they're saying. That she cheated with that silver-haired guy over there, and you caught them. Then yeah, that's true. Karen's eyes widened. Derek, I'm so sorry. I always liked Jessica. She has her charms, I said dryly. Excuse me for a minute. I made my way toward the company booth, my little entourage following at a distance. Greg saw me coming and his face palled. Vance, he said stiffly. I wasn't sure you'd come. Wouldn't miss it. Nice turnout tonight. I glanced around at the crowd of employees and clients. Perfect weather for a festival. Jessica stepped forward. Derek, can we talk in private, please? I think we're past the point of private conversations, don't you? I smiled, raising my voice a little. Besides, I'm sure everyone here would love to hear about your quarterly reports. Several people turned to look at us. Greg's jaw tightened. You're making a scene, he said quietly. Am I? I thought I was just being social. I took a sip of my beer. Speaking of social, how is your wife? Greg? Haven't seen Victoria in ages. She's fine. Glad to hear it. Oh, there she is now. Victoria appeared at the edge of the crowd, elegant in a black dress and carrying a file folder. She walked toward our little group, her heels clicking on the pavement. Greg, darling, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. The color drained from his face. Victoria, what are you doing here? Well, I heard you were working late again tonight. Thought I'd surprise you. She looked around the booth and look at all these lovely people from your office. Perfect timing. She opened the folder and took out a stack of papers. I brought some light reading. I thought your colleagues might find it interesting. Victoria, don't. Oh, but I insist. She turned to the group of board members. Gentlemen, I believe you're considering my husband for a promotion. Well, I have some information about his expense reports you might be interested in. She started handing out copies of hotel receipts, restaurant bills, and credit card statements. The board members took them with confused expressions that quickly turned to alarm. These are all charges on the company account, one of them said, but these are clearly personal expenses. Very personal. Victoria agreed. Greg has been using company funds to entertain his girlfriend here. She gestured to Jessica. Multiple hotels, expensive dinners, weekend getaways, all billed as client meetings. The crowd was growing. Other festival goers had noticed the commotion and were drifting closer to watch. I spotted Mrs. Higgins near the front, her phone out and recording. This is a private matter, Greg said desperately. Really? I stepped forward because I have a few text messages that would suggest otherwise. I pulled out my phone and began to read in a clear, carrying voice. Greg, that hotel room was incredible. I can't wait to have you all to myself again. Gasps went through the crowd. Jessica's face turned crimson. Same room next Tuesday. Put it on the company card like last time. Stop. Jessica whispered. I told Derek I'm visiting my sister. He's so gullible. We could do this forever. The crowd was silent now. Even the band had stopped playing. Greg looked like he was about to be sick. One of the board members stepped forward. Greg, is this true? Have you been misusing company funds? It's not. It's fraud, Victoria said calmly, and a violation of company policy regarding relationships with subordinates. You're terminated. Another Board member said, both of you security will escort you from the premises on Monday. The crowd started to murmur. Phones came out. Cameras started recording. Jessica burst into tears. This is humiliating, she sobbed. You're destroying our lives. I'm not destroying anything, I said. I'm just sharing the truth. You destroyed your own lives when you decided to betray everyone who trusted you. Greg grabbed Jessica's arm. We're leaving. Good idea. I called after them. But Greg, your car is in the impound lot. You might want to call a cab. As they pushed their way through the crowd, people parted, many with looks of disgust. Someone booed. Someone else threw a plastic cup. Victoria appeared at my elbow. Well, that went better than expected. You think it's over? She smiled. Oh, Derek, that was just part one. The next morning I woke up to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The festival confrontation had gone viral, not just on the neighborhood Facebook, but on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Mrs. Higgins's video had been shared over 1,000 times with a caption, cheating wife and boss get what they deserve at local festival. The local news had picked it up. Channel 8's morning show was calling it Summerfest drama goes viral and asking for interviews. My phone rang. It was Victoria. Have you seen the news? She asked. Hard to miss it. We're famous. Greg's been calling me since last night, begging me not to file for divorce. Says he'll do anything to make it right. What? Did you tell him? I told him it's too late for that. My lawyer is filing the papers today, and I'm taking him for everything he's got. She paused. But that's not why I'm calling. I just got off the phone with HR at their company. Apparently, 3 other women have come forward with complaints against Greg. It goes back years. Damn. The company is launching a full investigation. They're worried about liability lawsuits, the whole 9 yards. Greg's not just fired. He's probably going to be blacklisted from the entire industry. And Jessica, same. Word travels fast in corporate circles. She'll be lucky to get a manager job at a fast food place. I should have felt satisfied. Instead, I just felt empty. 8 years of marriage, reduced to viral videos and public humiliation. My phone vibrated with another call. Lauren, Jessica's supposed best friend. Derek, it's Lauren. I need to talk to you about what? Jessica's here, and she's not doing well. She hasn't eaten in 2 days. She just sits on my couch crying and watching the videos of herself online. This is wrong, Derek. I know you're angry, but this is going too far. She made a mistake. A mistake? I laughed. She had a 6-month affair with her married boss and used her home as a cover. That's not a mistake. Lauren, that's a choice. Multiple choices. But the public humiliation, the videos going viral, she doesn't deserve this. What did she deserve? A quiet divorce where she gets half of everything I've built while she was with someone else. A chance to play the victim and rewrite history. Silence on the other end of the line. Here's the thing, Lauren. Jessica thought I was too stupid to figure out what she was doing. She thought she could manipulate me, lie to me, and I'd never know the difference. She was wrong. So you decided to destroy her life. I decided to tell the truth. Everything that happened after that was just consequences. She wants to talk to you, to apologize. Lawrence said too late for apologies. Derek, please. She's talking about harming herself. That stopped me. Whatever Jessica had done, I didn't want a serious situation on my conscience. If she's a danger to herself, call 911. Get her professional help. But I am not her husband anymore. and I am not her savior. I hung up and sat in my kitchen looking out the window at Mrs. Higgins' house. She was in her garden, probably planning her next neighborhood watch update. My phone rang. Again, this time it was a number I didn't recognize. "This is Derek Vance." A professional female voice spoke. "Mr. Vance, this is Sarah Jenkins from Channel 8 News. We'd like to do an interview about the festival incident. We're calling it viral justice when betrayal goes public. Not interested?" "Sir, it would be a chance to tell your side of the story." I thought about it. The story was already out there. At least this way I could control the narrative. "One condition," I said. "No sappy angles. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just want people to understand that actions have consequences." Deal. The interview aired that night. I watched it at Murphy's Pub with Marcus, Big Mike, and half the guys from the shop. The reporter had done a good job. No sensationalism, just the facts. They interviewed me, Victoria, and even Mrs. Higgins, who had become a local celebrity of sorts. "The thing is," I said to the camera, "I didn't set out to humiliate anyone. I just refused to be the fool in someone else's story. When you break someone's trust, you don't get to control how they react." The segment ended with an update. Greg had been fired from his job and was facing a potential lawsuit from the company. Jessica was unemployed and had moved back in with her parents in Ohio. The company was implementing new policies on workplace relationships and expense reports. "Justice," Marcus said, raising his beer. "Justice," I agreed. But as I drove home that night, I realized something. I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. For 8 years, I had been married to a woman who saw me as a convenient cover for her real life. Now, for the first time, and longer than I could remember, I was just myself again. My phone vibrated with a text from an unknown number. "Saw you on the news. You handled yourself well. If you're ever ready to start dating again, give me a call. Rachel from the hardware store." I smiled and saved the number. The next morning, I woke up in my own bed in my own house with no one to answer to but myself. I made coffee, read the paper, and headed to the shop where honest work and loyal friends were waiting for me. At lunch, Marcus brought me a printout of the latest neighborhood Facebook post. Mrs. Higgins had shared a picture of a moving truck at Greg's house with the caption, "Neighborhood Watch. Update. The man in the BMW is moving out. His wife got to keep the house. Justice is served." The comments were full of celebration and support for Victoria, who had apparently become the neighborhood hero. You think it's really over now?" Marcus asked. I looked around my shop at the business I'd built, the life I'd earned through honest work and loyalty. Then I looked at my phone where Rachel's number was saved under New Beginning. "Yeah," I said. "It's over, and it's just beginning." 6 months later, I got a wedding invitation in the mail. Victoria was marrying her divorce lawyer, a guy named David, who apparently appreciated women with backbone and good legal counsel. The invitation included a note. "Thank you for being a good friend during the worst time of my life. Hope you'll dance at my wedding. Victoria, IRSVPDS, and bought a new suit for the occasion." Jessica never contacted me again. According to mutual friends, she was working at a call center in Columbus and living with her parents. Greg had moved to Florida and was selling insurance. They had both learned that actions have consequences and that some bridges once burned can never be rebuilt. As for me, I married Rachel from the hardware store. 2 years later, she's nothing like Jessica. She is honest, straightforward, and smart enough to appreciate a man who values loyalty above all else. We honeymooned in Maine, visiting small towns and antique shops, building new memories on a foundation of hard-won wisdom. Sometimes people ask me if I regret the way I handled things with Jessica and Greg, if I think the public outcome was too much, too cruel. I always give them the same answer. They made their choices in private. I just made sure the consequences were public. It was a matter of accountability, and it was fair. They had gambled with other people's lives, other people's trust, other people's hearts. They lost that bet, and the house always collects. Last I heard, the video of their festival confrontation was still circulating online. A cautionary tale about the price of betrayal. Mrs. Higgins had turned her viral fame into a neighborhood watch consulting business, teaching other communities how to document and share important safety information. Marcus is still working at the shop, though he's a part owner now. Big Mike expanded his towing business and hired 3 more trucks. Victoria and David have 2 kids and send Christmas cards every year. As for me, I learned the most important lesson of all. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. And when they try to make you the fool in their story, you write a better ending. Comment. Reading through this situation reminds me how deeply it hurts when someone we trust betrays us. It is incredibly hard to stand tall when you feel betrayed by the people closest to you. However, setting firm boundaries is the first step toward reclaiming your peace of mind. We cannot control how others choose to act, but we can hold them accountable for their choices. True. Healing begins the moment you decide not to let someone else's bad decisions define your worth. Sometimes the best response is simply walking away from toxicity and focusing on your own personal growth. Building a life surrounded by honest and loyal people is the greatest reward you can give yourself. I hope you always remember your own value and never settle for anything less than genuine respect. Please share your thoughts below on how you protect your boundaries and choose peace in difficult times. Thank you for spending your time here and being part of this supportive community. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.